Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to Money Control. I'm Karunya Rao. With me is Manisha Gupta, and commodities across the board are on a tear. What is going on and who are the big winners?
Oh, well, when you look at the month of November, what a stupendous gains we've seen there. And I think dollar index is one thing. All of the factors just fell in place and the dollar index is now below 106, and that clearly seems to have worked. What also did work, the US Fed chair's statement yesterday where he was quite dovish about interest rates going forward. That worked in favor. And then China finally seems to be opening up, even as the COVID cases are increasing. The kind of protests we've seen, the stimulus measures, the financial injection that they have done in the country, all of that seems to be now being taken into a positive territory. In any case, many of these commodities did have stronger fundamentals, but now with the macro scenario changing as well, it is quite strong. So when you talk about the major winners, it is about gold and silver, best month in many months, and metals have done extremely well, up by anywhere between 8 to 25% on the higher side for the month of November. And remember, we've been talking about rubber and cotton and how they've continued to decline. Even they have seen very strong gains in this week and have turned positive for the month of November.
Did we jinx it?
Oh, okay.
No, but on a serious note, when you say metals have rebounded quite sharply, do copper and aluminum continue to be the top performers?
They absolutely do. And for copper, this has been the best month since May 2021.
Oh, wow.
So very strong gains coming in for copper. We did see a high of $10,800 in this year. We saw a low at $6,900 on the lower side, and we are holding above 8,000 right now. So good gains from the kind of 20-month lows that we saw in the month of July. Also in case of copper, the inventories have continued to decline. And copper, whether it's about construction, EVs, green metal, everything, cables, everything seems to be working in favor of copper. So yes, copper is an absolute close your eyes and buy. Yes,
even at these levels.
Even at these levels.
Okay, so that's something you can keep on your radar. But and a rise in the prices of all these base metals and gold and silver translates to bad news for consumers.
It does, so I'll start with gold and silver first. And as I said, it has been a best month in 18 months when you look at gold and silver, both of these. Gold is up by 8%, silver up by 15% for the month of September. So all that pre-buying, wedding buying, it clearly has come to a standstill is what jewelers tell us. So much so that with the kind of run-up that you've seen in case of gold prices, for the Indian markets, gold is trading at a $15 discount.
Oh.
And silver is trading at a 50 cents discount because yes, there are no buyers suddenly and people had bought a lot of gold. There's a lot of inventories with jewelers, and with the gold prices rising, they're not able to sell at those levels. So to ensure that there are buyers coming in, there's a discount.
So if there is a discount indeed, is it applicable only to jewelry or even for those who want to buy
it's mostly bullion
gold or
bullion rather than jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's not too bad, and perhaps we can still buy at these levels. I know you can. I don't know about the viewers. But what about softer commodities? We haven't touched upon it for some time. Tea prices, sugar prices, coffee prices, cocoa, which we were talking about how because of seasonality factor it was rising. How are softer commodities doing?
So many of these have been quite volatile, but the weakness in US dollar clearly has been supportive for many of them as well. And with the sentiment changing that China will open up and Chinese demand will come into the market also has been supportive here. So a lot of speculative trades which were short on many of these commodities now seem to be going away. And we will see more of that by the 15th of December because people will start closing their books. So whether you were long in a commodity or a short in a commodity, you will see those trade adjustments, reallocation of funds being done before the new year begins as well. So the next 1 month clearly basically goes into all of that. So coffee, yes, there is some buying coming in that, but very strong buying is what we've seen in case of cotton because that was completely getting sold because of recession fears. That seems to be coming back on fore now. And surprisingly, I was talking to a lot of Gujarat traders with elections coming. I was trying to get a mood on, are people asking for a lot before the new government comes in? There was no asks at all. They were really happy, especially the commodity traders. So there's good money being made, prices are going up finally and things looking better.
But still a lot riding on China. I mean, it's really a wait and watch, and it has been a wait and watch thing for quite some time now. But at these levels, like I said, bottom line is what to buy or what to trade in from our viewer standpoint. And of course, copper you flagged off. Gold perhaps is still attractive. Anything else?
I think silver is a good bet as well. Aluminum is another thing that we see a lot of buy calls coming in from. And when you look at the agriculture commodities, it still seems good when you're looking at edible oil. Cotton is a good buy as well because even as it has come off its lows, it still is too far away from its highs. And especially with the mills opening up, Chinese demand coming up, these are a few soft commodities that are expected to do good.
And lastly, we have to touch upon crude oil prices. OPEC meeting this week.
Yes.
So in the next few days, not this week,
4th
but
of December.
Talk to us about oil and how should one navigate the space.
So, the markets were anticipating that this would be in-person meeting, but now in the morning we understand it's going to be a virtual meeting. That perhaps takes some seriousness away from that whole meeting. So, there's going to be not too much of indoor meetings. They're not going to be meeting for coffee, and that is not going to happen. So, whatever happens will happen virtually on phone, etc.
Probably pre-decided, they will just announce
Yeah,
it.
so the expectation is that we may not see an output increase or an output cut, maybe a status quo. That means 2 million barrels per day of a cut continues. That is something that the markets have factored in.
So there won't be much volatility ahead of at least the December 4th meeting.
That's right.
Okay, all right, there you have it, a comprehensive wrap on what's happening across the commodity space. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back again at 1 o'clock tomorrow with a fresh update.